Hi, this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are starting the layouts for the Writers Museum. We're going to a town called Listowel in Ireland, and it's a super cute little village in County Kerry. And the photos you're going to see today are just a few from the town near the museum that we went to. And I think you're going to see that it's a super cute little town, and we really enjoyed our time there. We spent most of our time in the museum, to be honest with you, but we did wander around just a little bit, and it is a beautiful place. So, and we really enjoyed the museum. So you're going to hear more about that over the next few days. But for today, we are doing the May virtual crop sketch number 2 to do this layout, and we're turning that single page sketch into a 2-page because you know that's how I roll. And yeah, so this is gonna be fun. Let's check out my workspace and we'll get started. All right, so this is my workspace for today, and we are, like I mentioned earlier, going to be working on a virtual crop sketch. Today's virtual crop sketch is actually the second sketch for May, and I don't remember if I, in that intro, if I mentioned which one it was that we were doing today. But we are going to do number 2 and turn it in from a single page sketch into a double page sketch. And I am changing the dimensions of this piece right here because I have much larger photos that I'm going to be showcasing on this page. So on both pages actually. So we're going to play with the dimensions of this just a bit. In order to make it work for my particular album and the photos that I need to do. I have 2 papers from the Kelly Green Totally Tonal packet, and then I have 2 papers that are the same, and these are from, I'm trying to remember which pack these are from. I want to say it's from the brick pack. I'll have to look though just to confirm. So look in the description of the video for the information on where these papers came from. Sorry about that. I just don't remember exactly where those belong. And then we're going to use the Rolling Leaf Border Maker cartridge, which is a really nice chain border maker pattern. We're going to use the CM Circle Punch. And we're going to use these, at least one of these shamrock punches, and you'll notice that these are not CM. CM doesn't have one, and so I have requested it, but we haven't seen one yet. So hopefully CM will come out with a shamrock border or shamrock individual punch someday. That would be lovely if they would do that, but you know, I can't control that stuff. So. Alright, so we're going to get some pieces cut here. Let me grab my trimmer. And we will go ahead and get the pieces cut, and then we can get this assembled. Now the pieces for this are relatively simple because I'm building this on a naked page. So that means that I'm not going to be, I didn't have to choose a page to be the bottom piece, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So we're going to just take this first piece, the green and white stripe. This piece we're going to cut. It's going to be our 3x12 that goes here. So I'm just going to cut 2 pieces at 3x12, one for each side of the layout. So there's one, and this one will be 2, so this will be for the other side. We'll just lay it over here. Keep things sorted, shall we? All right, and then we've got the tone on tone darker green This one is going to be this piece right here, which is 2 by 12. So we're going to cut 2 pieces at 2 by 12. One for that side and one for the other. And then we are going to, but I'm not going to do it just yet, we're going to use this paper to punch these green circles. So I'm not going to put this too far away, it's just going to sit there and wait for a minute or so. Alright, then the white paper we're going to measure into 2 different pieces. So I'm going to make some space so that I can function, because this is all just a little bit too close. So I'm going to move my arm out on my trimmer, and we are going to cut at 9 7/8. That's almost 10 inches, so 9 7/8. And this piece is extra. It'll just be over here. Then we're going to turn this and we're going to cut one at 7 5/8. So 7 5/8 is 2 marks past 7 1/2. Okay, so there's one, and that's going to be the one on the left hand side of the page, and this is extra. Then we're going to grab the other sheet and we're going to cut this one at 9 3/8, which is 2 marks back before the half mark, before 9 1/2. So 9 3/8. And we're going to turn this and cut it at 8 inches. And this will be for the right side. Alright, so now it's going to go over here. Now I'm going to put my trimmer away, and I'm going to grab those 12-inch pieces that we trimmed off of our white. These are the pieces we're going to punch. So I'm going to grab my border maker paper holder right here. It's my old one, old one, which I keep around just for nostalgia's sake. Alright, so we're going to load this. This is the wider one of the two, so we're going to start with that. And here is my border maker cartridge in the, I would call it the housing. We're going to line that up and we're going to punch and slide that along. I really like the dark kind of chalkboard paper that's on the back of this one, but when I put all of those together, all those pieces together, to look at how the colors worked, I don't know, I just liked the white better. That's all. Didn't not like the charcoal, I just liked the white better. So give me a second here, we're going to grab some Post-it notes. So that we can use this smaller piece. And if you don't know this little cheater method, this is the best thing because it holds your paper so that you can punch a smaller sheet. Right, so you place your paper out as far as the holder tells you to, and then the Post-it notes hold on to it so you can go ahead and punch that more narrow strip and not let it go to waste. So there's our last piece that we needed. Alright, so this one will go over there, and we are done with this. So we'll put it away, get rid of our confetti. All right. I hope that you are all signed up and good to go to participate in several of the upcoming events that I'm going to be helping with. While I grab my page here and get started assembling this, I'll just tell you real quick about them in case you don't already know. We are, or I am participating in, so this green one's going to go right here about 3/4 of an inch from the outer edge. Okay. I am participating in something called Memories Matter, which is a fundraising event for the Alzheimer's Association that Nicole So has organized. She has gotten 15 of the Stellar CM advisors, and somehow they decided that I fit into that category. I feel very honored to be included with these ladies who are all contributing layouts to this event. So you make one donation to the Alzheimer's Association, every cent is going to them. None of the creators or organizers are taking any money. We're all donating our time and efforts, and it's all going to an extremely worthy cause. So I hope that you'll join us. There's a link in the description of the video, so don't miss out. It's going to be fantastic, and you're going to get tons, and when I say tons, I mean tons. 15 contributing advisors. You can't go wrong with that. You really, really, really can't go wrong with that. All right, what have I done here? Okay, this is an extra piece I need to get rid of. All right, now I just added the 2-inch strip and the 3-inch strip right next to each other, about 3/4 of an inch from the outer edge of my page. Okay, I'm going to take the punched border and I'm going to use my repositionable adhesive and go ahead and get this laid down right over the seam. So we're going to just center this over the seam and bring that down all the way up the page. A little bit of texture there, right? Then we're going to go ahead and put this frame down that we made. Now the original layout says to cut this frame at 6 by 8, and then it's using a 5.5 by 3.5 photo and two 2.5 by 3.5 photos up here. In case that's what you want to do, be my guest. But my pictures did not fall in line with that, so I measured them, and hopefully this is going to work beautifully. All right, so this blends into my page, but I'm not really as worried about that. I think it'll be okay because there's some texture to it. So it may be just enough for what we're looking for. Okay, so this is that left side of the layout without the circled embellishments that are going to go over here. We'll get to those eventually. Right now I just wanted to get the pages together, so let me grab the other page without the photos. We'll talk about the photos in a little bit. Let's go ahead and get this second page together. So we're going to take those same two pieces. We're going to do the dark green one first, just like we did it first last time. And again, this goes about 3/4 of an inch in from the edge of the page. Just try to keep it aligned straight because this one's going to be aligned right next to it. So if you make one crooked, then the next one's going to be crooked. You just have to accept it at that point, right? Because it is what it is. All right. Either that or you're getting out your multi-purpose tool and lifting it up and adjusting, which I've done before. I definitely have done before. All right, so there's that. And we're going to come in here with our, you see that charcoal color? That's what it would have looked like before. And it really does stand out nicely. I don't know. Maybe I ought to just sort of wait a minute here and see what we think, huh? Maybe we should even do like that. Let's check out the two pages together and we'll see which one we like better. This is a good way to judge, right? We got white, dark, and light. Okay, so let me get these on here. Those are going to go like that. And then these are going to, oh, was I going to turn that? Yeah, I think I was. So this is going to go sideways a little bit. So like so. All right. So Listowel is a very charming little village, and I don't know, I'm thinking I like the dark. The pictures kind of pop a little bit more on the dark, but I've got my light paper down already. Let me see what I can do here. Let me see if I can fix this. If I can't fix it fairly easily, then we'll just go with it. This is where repositionable adhesive comes in handy, ladies. For real. Although, you know what I might do? Because most of this is going to be covered by my pictures. So I could just go ahead and put my pictures on here and then take off whatever is not covered by photos. So it's going to go this way. Oh yeah, the pictures show up so much better that way. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to the middle, and we're going to add these on here. Let's see. So I'm just going to move over just a tad so it's a little closer. So like that. And then the picture that's going down on the top is this lovely church. This church was basically right down in the center of the town. And actually, I think I'm going to scooch that over so I can take advantage of the fact that there's adhesive already there. And then we'll just add just a little bit more for that end of the photo. And then that way, all we need to do is take off these little bits over here. So I'm going to slide those off, and likely I can cover these up with some embellishing or title or both. Because scraping adhesive is so much fun, isn't it? If you had to do this before. This is what happens when you make a rash decision without taking a look first at how all the colors are working together. Honestly, I put these together and thought, I even held them up against the photos, and for some reason I was thinking, oh no, I like the white better. But now I really think I like the gray best. You can tell me what you think in the comments. Even if you like the white, I'm okay with that. Just tell me what you think. All right. So we've got that adhesive all removed, and that was fortunate that most of my pictures were already going to be covering it. Okay, so we have another rainbow going on. We have more of the church. If you can see that without glare, there you go, that's better. All right, let me get this paper centered and set down. And I'm putting this about 1/8 of an inch from the outer edge of my punch. So just centering it between the top and the bottom, and about 1/8 of an inch distance from the edge of this punch over here on the left. All right, so since I've flipped that over, I really should flip this as well. So we'll add some repositionable to the right side and adhere this down, and then I can rub the adhesive off of the outer edge easier because it will be adhered to my page. There, like that. See, so then I can come back in here and rub all that off, and it's not going to get caught up and attached to my fingers and then get ripped or something like that. So I like that better because you definitely can see that design work better. Okay, so we'll talk about these pictures for just a moment. So Listowel, it says International Storytelling Festival. Listowel is a town in County Kerry. I think I mentioned that either in this video or the next one. And it is really a very charming little town. There was, again, a little bit more of that rainbow, and actually, I don't know if you can see this on camera, but there is a secondary rainbow back here, which I had never witnessed before. And this one was so vibrant, and then this one is just lingering right there in the background, and so pretty. So we had to have a picture of that. There is a castle there in Listowel. We did not go through that castle, but I did get a picture of this sort of marker that talks about it. And then this church that I have all these pictures of, well, there's two actually. There's this church here, there's another church here, and then I believe it was across the street and kind of tucked behind this church is where the Writers' Museum was that we went to. Across the street, and it was where we were. So anyway, those are going to be my peekaboo pockets that'll go there, and I may switch those photos around so that the peekaboo pockets open this way. All right, let's check this out over here on this side and get these pieces put down. So we've got just some kind of basic photos of the area. This was kind of a row of what looked like apartments above storefronts, and then the street. Here's my husband and my daughter, and they were just walking through the town. And then this talks about a heritage trail that goes around the castle area, and so we took a picture of that, and this talked a little bit more about the castle and how let's see if it says how old it is. 1400s. It was built by the Fitzmaurice family sometime in the 1400s, it says. So, a considerably long time ago, right? And here's another bit, a little bit closer, so we can kind of read that better. Let's get some adhesive on this and get this photo down. This is the photo that's going to go underneath that. And actually, I'm thinking that this needed to be closer down here. I got my measurements a little bit wonky. I don't know how that happened, because they definitely would not fit going the other way. So I'm not sure why that is. So that's going to go on top of there. This picture will go here. And this was an award that was out in kind of the town square area where we were waiting for our bus. It says, Listowel Tidy Towns, Ireland's tidiest small town, 2015 and 2016. I just thought that was cool that they won an award for being the tidiest little town. Very, very nice. And it really was a lovely, lovely little town to look around in. We spent most of our time in the Writers' Museum, but it really was truly a lovely place to visit. All right, so we're just going to get this border put down here. Straight up the edge. And then this piece will go sideways. So I don't know if you are familiar with the virtual crop, but I do a lot of their sketches as examples in my albums so that you can see a version of how to put those together. And oh, I think I do need to trim that just a little bit. Let me grab my trimmer. I don't know if you're aware, but you really can tweak these just a little bit, or however you need to, so that they work with the photos that you have. You don't have to work vice versa, where you're making your photos conform to the sketches that CM is giving you. They don't expect you to follow their sketch to the letter. They're giving you these sketches as a general guideline to inspire you. So if they are inspiring you and you need to flip your page upside down to accommodate the basicness of the sketch that they're giving, then flip your stuff over. You know, add Add to the dimensions of something if you need to. There's all kinds of adjustments that you can make. Now I centered this, but I'm gonna take this off and move it because I am remembering that we have these little embellishments that need to go on our page, and I'm going to put those at the top, so I want to move this down just a little bit lower than center so that I have room for my circles. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is take my dark green paper and my CM 1 3/4 inch circle punch. I'm going to flip this over so I can see the bottom, and that's going to help me be able to know where I have punched before to be able to create my punch circles and get the most from my paper. Okay, so there's 1, 2, 3 for that page. 1, 2, 3 for that page. And see, I just used one column. I can cut that off and I can still use all of the rest of that paper. So I love being able to conserve my paper when I can, and it makes a huge difference. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is come back in here with this strip of white. Okay, so this was one of our scraps, and I'm going to just come in here and punch some shamrocks. And this, again, this is not a CM punch. I wish it was, but it's not. This punch is by, who makes this punch? Aha. Bira Bira, B-I-R-A, B-I-R-A, Bira Bira. I think I got it on Amazon. So if that helps you at all. If you're looking for a shamrock punch, this one is super cute, and it's a really nice size. So, a good choice. We've just about exhausted that piece. And then I'm going to, let's see. Let me see if I can get any of this smaller one out of the flip side of this. Just because it might be nice to have some smaller ones. Sometimes these guards are really nice and other times they kind of annoy me. So I'm just going to slide the guard out of the way so that I can pop my, so I can see more clearly and pop my punched piece out completely. We might not use all of these, but that's okay. I'll put them in my embellishment box. Who knows when they might turn up again on a layout. You never know. Alright, I think we've pretty well exhausted that piece of paper. I love it. Okay, so now I'm just going to slide this back and put that over there to the side. I'm going to take these circles that we've made and we're going to move this up so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing, and so can I. Okay, so we're going to use, I'm just going to grab my repositionable that's right here, and we're going to put one of those big white shamrocks, clovers. This is a clover. 4 leaves is a shamrock. 3 leaves is a clover. I don't know if you knew that. I did not know that until I started making these Ireland albums. But it is good information to have if you are headed to Ireland. Good information to have. All right. So I'm putting a couple of these just off to kind of the side just a little bit so that then I can grab some foam squares and come back in with these smaller ones and pop them up and add them. And that shadow will help differentiate between the white larger shamrock. Just enough, I hope, that it should be perfect. All right, I need one more. Let's do one more big one. All right, so then these are going to go across the top of our box. So I'm going to center the first one, and it's going to touch the box, overlapping just a smidge. And I'm going to just tilt them so that they are going slightly different directions. And a little more interesting that way. Well, this one's already kind of tilted, so we're just going to leave it that way. Okay, so like that. And then on this side, we'll have this guy with the 2. We'll have him be kind of in the middle. And these, because of how close they are to the edge, these are going to be overlapping my photos quite a bit. So they're not covering up anything critical, so I'm not really too worried about it. And by turning the shamrock so that it's kind of going different directions, it adds a little bit more interest to the page. Okay, so now we can take these other shamrocks, these other white ones, down here, and we can add them all around the page as we like. So we can add a couple of them down here. Maybe we'll do 1, 2, and 3, kind of like so. Maybe these two will have kind of going down this area over here where we have that little void, kind of like so. Oh, and we have a big one. Ooh, okay, so let's do this. We'll put some adhesive on there, and let's move one of these little ones. Cut one. And we'll put him up here like this. Like so. Okay. I believe that has us done with this week's, or this particular layout. I am so glad that we changed, or that I changed the, oh, this one goes over here, that I changed this background to the darker one. I think that works so much better than the light, than the lighter background. The lighter background blended too much into this paper and the page. Since these are Spargo pages, it just really blended a little bit more than it should have. You can tell it was this paper that the shamrocks are punched with, and it looks like it's almost the exact same color as the page. That would not have been good to do. So I'm glad I flipped that over, and hopefully you are too. Let me know what you think. I'm always interested to know what you think. And of course, since this is, you know, on top of this, I could have moved the base portion closer to the outer edge of the page. That's true, and you know, those of you who might point that out, yes, you're totally right. I had more room on the outer edges of this page. I could have moved that out just a little and accommodated things a little bit better. But you know, for me, once it's down, it's done, and done is better than perfect for me, because I have a lot of these pages that I'm doing, you know that. So I'm going to move on to the next portion of this adventure. And I hope that you have many more creative moments. Enjoy the rest of your day.